More and more parents are realizing the importance of having their kids start their involvement in music and movement. At the same time, many parents also realize the importance of having their kids engage in martial arts classes at a young age. Now, how do you prioritize between martial arts classes and music and movement? Well, what if I tell you that you can actually have your kids learn both martial arts and music at the same time and as early as 2 years old? Have your kids learn both. Hello, everyone. I am Mommy, happy to teach my child an online multi-platform dedicated to helping children maximize their potential. Before we dive in, make sure you subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Today, we have the pleasure of interviewing Mestre 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲, better known as Mestre Fantasma, President of Axé Capoeira Philippines and Vice President of the World Capoeira Federation. Salve, Mestre!
Salve, good afternoon. Just a correction, I'm the Vice President of the India Capoeira Federation.
Got it. Thank you, Mestre. So let's dive in. First and foremost, what is capoeira? And what are the unique benefits of capoeira, Mestre?
Well, capoeira is a Brazilian martial art. We define more as an art form, and it was created in Brazil with the traditions of African slaves in Brazil during the 16th centuries. So it have transformed already and evolved, and capoeira today is already worldwide. Capoeira is recognized as a patrimony of heritage of a global, so it's for everyone. It's in every country today, and the benefits of capoeira, it's a lot. It's a lot. Capoeira is the only martial arts that bring the elements of music. And when we're talking about music in movement, actually the African tradition, like they do not separate like music from movement. So I can tell you that our core principle in capoeira is to work with music and movement, and from there to learn and discover how to manage ourselves, challenging ourselves to learn new things every day.
Mestre, I like this statement on your Axé Capoeira Philippines Facebook page. You said there, capoeira was born out of the desire for freedom and self-expression. It adapts to the challenges of the times, and this holds true even until now. It continues to evolve and defy what others say cannot be done. Capoeira cannot be stopped. It needs to be. Can you please expound on this?
I think if we relate to what we're all experiencing today in the world with the pandemic going around, then the definition of capoeira is going to fit very well for that as well. Like today we cannot be in the gyms anymore. Like our contact with each other is very limited. But capoeira, it's always in transformation. Since the time of the slavery, how I was telling you guys, capoeira have been transformed, adapting, and surviving. Because this is the power of capoeira also. We are always aiming the freedom, and that freedom that we much need now. Like we can adapt, and we adapt already to this time of the pandemic. Our classes are still going on at homes, and we're making sure that we still bring in the joy of capoeira to everyone, from the kids to the adults.
Well, to give you a better idea to give our audience a better idea of how a capoeira training and Mestre, Roda look like, Mestre has kindly shared with us a video of one of their trainings pre-COVID. Mestre, I saw that there are some kids training with the adults. How is it like? How are the adults also able to control their movement so that they don't hit the kids? Just
Yeah,
curious about that.
I'm sorry. Yeah, in capoeira, one of the good benefits of capoeira is that inclusion also, and we do have the kids when we do the roda. Of course, the classes and the trainings are separated for kids and adults, but that interaction with adults and kids together is something very powerful in capoeira. Capoeira movements is all about control, so we're constantly practicing that control. And when we're doing capoeira, it's important to tell everybody here that we do not fight capoeira. We do not fight each other. We play a game called capoeira. So this game, playing with a kid, it's even a funnier, happier, and enjoyable game as well. So for the kids, they feel the same. Of course, as adults with more experience, our goal is to teach and to welcome the kids to the game of capoeira.
You mentioned it's a game, so I'm just wondering, as a parent, um, sometimes you're scared about having your child try a martial art because you're thinking, oh my gosh, will my child be aggressive, or how will competition be promoted in a martial art? So you mentioned, Mestre, that it's a game. So can you tell us more about how a hoda works? Like, there are a lot of musical instruments also playing in the background. So how do they all come together?
Yeah, capoeira, like different from other martial arts, and this is what really makes capoeira part of most of the martial arts, is the music. So how you guys saw in the video there, the place for us to play capoeira, it's inside the circle, and that circle we call the roda. And that roda, it's made by many of the people who practice capoeira together. So we're gonna have the instruments there, and we have about like 4 to 5 instruments that needs to be played. Aside of the instruments, we need to be singing. As a music, we have our own capoeira songs as well. So the music, we're gonna tell what kind of movements or what kind of game that we need to play in capoeira. So we have different games according to the music, and everybody around the roda, it's making that music work. It's making that energy works for two people only to play inside that roda. So when I say we do not fight like each other, it's just like making people understand that that's not like how most of the people see martial arts, as a competition where you have to stand in front of each other to try to defeat each other. In capoeira, we say we play a game, and actually we don't have winner, because the whole roda, everybody in that roda wins, because everyone is giving the energy to make that game work. So we are a martial arts also. We do have the fight system and the self-defense, but this is a small part of capoeira only. How I said in the beginning, capoeira is an art form, and it's more than just competition. It's more than just like this kind of challenge of trying to defeat each other. The main goal is to make a kind of a ceremony where everyone are going to put their energy there, and we all, once again, we feel like we're all winning when that roda is done.
Mestre, musical instruments. So you mentioned, Mestre, that you have three capoeira musical instruments at home. Mestre, can you please show us how do you play these instruments? What roles do they play exactly in the roda? And can kids also learn how to play these?
Yeah, I keep saying that music is a big thing in capoeira, and when we learn capoeira, from the kids to the adults, they have been exposed to the instruments and the music since the beginning, right? We have particular instruments for capoeira. This one that I'm holding here, every capoeirista are gonna say this is the main instrument for capoeira that we call berimbau. So the berimbau is
Wait.
actually, it's made by wood. It's a very old instrument, that was born in Africa, brought to Brazil, and have been transformed in Brazil as well. So there's a very special role for this instrument in the roda, because this is the one who's gonna lead the music. We're gonna play different kinds of music, and this you're gonna be the message for the people, what to tell them what kind of game they have to play. So I can show you guys here. It's a very interesting instrument. So usually in a roda we have 3 𝗟𝗡𝗋𝗋s, and each 𝗟𝗡𝗋𝗋 has their own role. Like, and those 𝗟𝗡𝗋s are divided by the tune. So we have the low tune, the medium, and then we have the high pitched tune for the 𝗟𝗡𝗋. And then right after the 𝗟𝗡𝗋, we have, let me move back here. We have this big drum here that we call atabaque. So the atabaque is a drum that today we find, in this case, in this model, just in capoeira. But this is an African drum also, and have different meanings, like on how to play this drum in the African culture. So for capoeira, this makes the base of the rhythm. I'll show you guys. It's not here, but here is a tambourine that we have in capoeira. Everyone knows as a tambourine, and the role, it's pretty much the same as the atabaque, of course, with a different tune also, which is to make the bass, you know, the bass of the drum. So we have the atabaque. We have usually 2 tambourines, 2 pandeiros. Aside of the 3 𝗟𝗡𝗋𝗋s, we have an instrument called agogô that unfortunately I don't have right here, right now. It's in the gym. And how we know, like, we had to leave some stuff in the gym and we're not able to go back yet. So we have a set of instruments that together we call those instruments a bateria. Bateria would be the band for capoeira.
How do you pronounce it again, Mestre?
Bateria.
Bateria, okay.
Bateria are going to be all those instruments together playing in harmony, and then from that bateria, usually one person is gonna sing a song, you know, and those songs are all sing in Portuguese. So the students, aside of getting exposed to music, to rhythm, to the new instruments, they're gonna be exposed to songs and music. In that way, also learning about the Brazilian Portuguese through the songs. We're all in Portuguese. So we say capoeira, we have a complete package, you know. That's why it's a little bit more than just like the competition or just the martial art aspect. So the kids, the adults, anyone who comes into capoeira, they're gonna start to develop like a lots of talents, I can say.
I can just imagine. So by executing the movements, they learn about control. Of course, they learn about the flexibility. They learn about music. You mentioned, Mestre, earlier, they know the beats, so the rhythm, different sounds, so loud, soft. You have a community there. So you have the capoeiristas in the middle, and then you have someone playing the instruments. And then, of course, you mentioned also, Mestre, someone singing. Will the kids also learn how to sing?
They love to sing, you know, like that's what I always tell everyone. Like music, it's so natural to kids, right? I always tell my old students they have to become a little bit more kid-like, to be more receptive to music, because it's natural for kids. And this is the power of capoeira. They learn how to sing and they cannot stop singing. I always get message when I see the parents also, they keep saying, they keep singing that song or those songs the whole week. You know how kids, they can really record well and memorize like something, so they keep with them, and this is gonna help them so much through their capoeira journey.
And they're learning the music in Portuguese, right?
In Portuguese, yes, all in Portuguese.
Wow. So, what kinds of words did they learn in Portuguese?
They learn a lot in capoeira. The music in capoeira has roles also. You know, the music can tell the story of Brazil or the stories of capoeira. It can send message to encourage them how to play better in the roda, we can send message through the songs for them to be aware of something that can happen in the roda, or if the opponent is trying to catch them. All of those songs are messages in capoeira. So they learn, of course, step by step, basic like Portuguese songs first. But later on, we through the song, and that when the kids start to really grow, they want to know more what they're singing. They keep asking questions, and that's how like they start to engage more on the Portuguese house. We always teach them how to introduce themselves in Portuguese, how to say thank you, goodbye, even to introduce their names. Like most of the students know already in a perfect Portuguese.
Just curious, Mestre, how will I introduce myself in Portuguese? So if I'm just saying my name is Happy,
Meu nome,
meu nombre,
meu nome
meu nome, okay,
é,
é
and then you say your name. For example, I say
Happy.
meu nome é Fantasma.
Wow. So it's not just so when you ask the kids, like when they go to school and they introduce themselves, they don't just say, "Hi, ako si Happy," or "Hi, my name is Happy." They can even say their names in Portuguese.
They say in Portuguese, and actually the same way you greet me, salve, like usually they greet salve, Messi. Like, you know, like we have that interaction that becomes natural in class as well.
And I guess they also become more confident because they know that they are actually they know their bodies well. They know a lot of things even at a young age, right? And they're even interacting with adults.
Definitely. Like we have many examples of parents that, you know, experience capoeira together with kids that start first and the parents come later on. So it's amazing to see everyone working together and sharing the same passion and all through that good energy of capoeira.
Okay. Mestre, let's now move on to the second part. So
Sure.
second part is up close and personal with Mestre 𝗟𝗶𝗲𝗄𝗏, 𝗟𝗏𝗄𝗏 Fantasma or Mestre Fantasma. Mestre, how did you start practicing capoeira? What about that martial art got you interested?
Well, I'm a Brazilian national, so capoeira in Brazil, it's our sport. You know, it's our martial art. We're very proud of that. Every Brazilian is proud of that. Of course, not every Brazilian does capoeira, but as a kid, I was always into. You know, like first as a fun. You know, as many other Brazilians, as a kid, a boy, I started to do football first. You know, soccer is a big passion in Brazil as well. But I always see when I see capoeira in the streets or I see capoeira on TV. As a kid, I had that connection already. You know, like I think when most of the kids in my time they see the Bruce Lee movies and they get inspired by the martial arts. For me, it was always with capoeira when I see the performance, when I hear the stories about the people who do capoeira. So I started to do capoeira when I was 12 years old. You know, I was doing football like for several years, but I have decided to ask my parents, my mom actually, and tell her that I want to do capoeira. So she asked me to look for the school, and I went there and I was hooked. It's like first seeing love, you know, you find something that you know it's for you. Like the moment I started to practice capoeira, I never played football anymore, and that's something that deeply, even as young as 12 years old, I know that that's what I like to do, and I have never lost that fire ever since. I have been doing capoeira for almost 28 years, and I still feel like that same teenager who wants to learn more, wants to practice more. We're happy and proud, like talking about capoeira, teaching capoeira. So today, my life is really capoeira. When I say today, the moment I moved from Brazil to the Philippines back in 2004, I have been living from capoeira and for capoeira 24/7. And I'm very proud of that. You know, my family, I met my wife through capoeira. My two kids, they do capoeira, they love capoeira. How people see me here in the country as a capoeira, as the capoeira teacher, it's something that it fulfilled me as a human being, and I'm very proud to be representing capoeira here in the country.
Speaking of your family being involved in capoeira, Mestre, let us now show our audience a video of your whole family practicing capoeira. Mestre, capoeira is a family affair for you all. So I do notice that Yara, your older child, started practicing capoeira at a very young age. I've read that she now has at least a decade of capoeira practice under her belt. So, Mestre, as a parent and as a capoeira teacher, have you noticed any changes in her character as she was growing up?
Yes, definitely. I think that's natural. Like for every teenager, especially, right? They change a lot of more hormones to make them, try to put themselves in a place that they belong as a teenager, right? But I'm very lucky, because my both kids actually, my daughter first, like since like she's a baby, and actually even when my wife was pregnant, they were always there in the gym with me. So she grew up like seeing me teaching capoeira and understanding that her dad like is a martial art teacher. So it was very natural for her. But I can say that for any kid, like when they're exposed to something that they feel that good energy, the music, the happiness, like they it's eye catching for them, because they grew up like doing things that once I was a kid, even without capoeira, I had that freedom of doing. Also to play, to try to do cartwheels and to challenge myself to do handstands, and so that joy of being playful as a kid, like I could offer to my daughter since an early age. So she started to train capoeira when she was around 3 or 4 years old, and as a parent, I know how to separate that. Also, being the teacher and being the parent, I never force her. Like how many people think like she needs to be the best because she's the daughter of the master. It's not really like that. It's always a choice for her. But she enjoyed so much. She enjoyed so much. She in capoeira, I can say that she have been experienced the challenge of making something work. It's not easy. It needs to work hard if she wants to get better, and this is for every kid. Like right now she's a teenager. She's is like that, like it's not like before, but she's very proud. Today I trick her many times because she say like, okay, I'll not join the class, but dad, can you teach me self-defense? And then, okay, as long as you put the capoeira uniform, I'll teach you self-defense, and then it works. But on the other side, I have a son. He's 4 years old, and it's the same process all over again. So I'm really happy.
Here's Mestre's son, Mateus.
Yeah, this is Matthias.
How old did Mateus start capoeira?
Right, the same as Yara. Like he was always there in the gym even when he was 2, 3 years old. But he started really. I tried to push him this one more. Sometimes the boys we can push a little bit more. So he started at 3. Like of course in his own limitations as a young boy, but very happy of being doing the exercise and the movements also.
So I suppose, Mestre, from your own experience, you can imagine that parents also will enjoy having their kids train in capoeira, even at the young age of 3, 4, Mateus, right?
Yes, that's right.
So, so Mestre, also I'm very curious. You mentioned that Yara now asks you to teach her other forms of martial arts, right, Mestre?
Yes,
I'm not sure about this, Mestre, but I've read that you have a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Is
I do.
that
I do.
so?
I love martial arts, and I have been doing jiu-jitsu here in the Philippines like for the past 11 years under the great coach Ali Sulit with the
Mhm.
Apex team. So it's something I enjoyed, and I'm a sport person, and I'm someone who likes to learn. And I tried jiu-jitsu before in Brazil many years ago, and I had the chance like to find a good teacher, a good leader here, and I'm very proud to be a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu student.
Master, how do you think these two Brazilian martial arts complement each other?
It's a perfect marriage, like I can say.
Wow.
Like not because it's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but I think it when once like we know Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu more ground fighting, and Capoeira give us that confidence and knowledge to know how to work with rhythm, with balance, strength from the legs and the hips, and this is something for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu that it's almost a requirement for you to get to the next levels of knowledge. So it helps a lot. It helps a lot. I think capoeira, not only Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but when especially the kids, they start to do capoeira first and they learn that process of getting confident, trying to do different movements and knowing more about their body, their balance, their flexibility. It helps for any other sport, I can say, not just martial arts. It helps for any other sport.
I love what you said, Mestre, about the kids learning to realize how their body works, like developing the flexibility, the balance, and then they try different sports. So, because in different sports, they also have they also use the same sets of skills. So the balance and flexibility. Once you have that in capoeira, it's also easier for you to learn about the others. Master, going to our third portion of our interview on teaching capoeira, Mestre. So back then in 2003, you were the first to establish a capoeira school in the Philippines. And please correct me if I'm pronouncing this wrong. Escola Brasileira de Capoeira, Mestre, Philippines, EBC Philippines. That was during a time when not so many people have met capoeira. So how is it, Mestre? Growing building a school and growing a following, especially knowing that it takes a community to play the roda.
Yeah, I'm one of the pioneers of capoeira here, but actually I got here the year of 2004, and there was a friend of mine, a partner of training from the same city and the same group in Brazil, who came first. He arrived in 2003, and together with the students here in the Philippines, they formed the first capoeira group of here in Manila. And I was able to come in the year after for the first ceremony of graduation of those students. So it was pretty much the beginning still, and but I can say it started to pick very fast at that time, capoeira. Because the group of people that were involved in capoeira at that time, they really fall in love with the art in a way that they can start to promote with their friends and their family, and we start to get the attention of media. We did a lot of TV appearances and even commercials, participation in movies. So it picked very fast. At that time was more focused on the adults, not so much in the kids. But today, like with the knowledge that we carry, and we're so confident to show like how natural capoeira is for the kids. Today the focus, it's a little bit more on the kids, but just like how you said, I still have students training with me. A lot of them, they have been with me like ever since I arrived here. I have students who have been doing capoeira with me for 16 years already.
Wow, 16 years, Mestre. So, now that the focus has turned to the kids, have you noticed any difference in the reasons why some adults and some kids would enroll in capoeira? And is there a difference in their motivation to learn the martial art?
It's funny because once we start to learn more, and I think when I say learn more, I include myself also, because we're getting older, we're looking for more knowledge also. And I don't see so much difference actually. It's just that for the adults, capoeira start to prove them that they become kids again, in a way that they're gonna find like that joy of moving in the same way that the kids have. In other way, for the kids, we start with that fun, with that joy, and then during the process of learning, we need to make sure also they understand what is hierarchy of belts, how to be respectful, And this is a principle that any martial arts also focus for the kids. So there is a lot of similarities there. And for me as a teacher, the best is when we see them playing together. How you saw it, my family, we're doing capoeira together here at home. Like we always have, maybe once a month or twice a month, we put the parents and the kids together in a festive class like that, just to have fun. And we see the kids teaching their parents. It's amazing, they explaining to them like step by step what to do. And we see that in the other way also, the parents who do capoeira bringing their kids who doesn't do capoeira and showing them. Like I have a student, a good friend of mine, 16 years with me. Like his daughter started to do capoeira later on after him and his wife. Like today, he keep posting videos of them playing together in the garage of their house, experience. And that kind of sharing, it's something priceless to see, when we see a family like getting together, like through capoeira. I have many students like this, wife, husband, the kids, and the new kid come and they're all doing capoeira, and that's beautiful.
Capoeira, sorry, Mestre, you mentioned that the parents who are not that exposed yet to capoeira are being taught by their kids who have been practicing capoeira for some time. So, how receptive are the parents to their kids teaching them?
It's so nice, like I actually, the fact that we have to be all at home today, there's the bad side and the good side. For capoeira, it's amazing because when the kid is in front of their computer or the phone doing the online class, we know that the parents are there. They have to be there to set the computer, to help them. So they are watching. And this is something that I think we should have before else, because as a teacher, I understand the parents are busy and not all the parents would have the time to watch their kids doing something fun and enjoying. And when I see that working today, and happen, like to see the parents like understanding what their kids are doing and seeing that during the class they're as excited as after the class telling the stories, it's something good to see, that kind of message that we can bring through capoeira during those tough times. That's why I said in the beginning, capoeira transforms and adapt, and we're still working well actually doing capoeira with the effort of many people helping. And we're lucky because we saw first the pandemic going on in China. So I had friends there who had really hard time with the pandemic, not knowing what to do. So we kind of had time to adjust. And when it arrived here in the Philippines, we decided to go as fast as we can to try the online class. And it's working super well now. We have many kids like doing capoeira for over 6 months already. Kids who were never like exposed to capoeira before pandemic. Actually, they learn capoeira just the way we're talking here. And the challenge is a lot, but I think it's a good challenge. The challenge for me as a teacher also, how to concentrate more on learning how to express myself teaching, to make them understand what they're doing. And so far it's working super well.
Master, how important is form in capoeira? Like how important is it that they execute the different movements, the different stances properly?
It's very important. But I start to, just sharing with you, I start to talk more with my students, especially the adults as well, the kids as well, and I'll get back to this. But once we're here, that usually in class we can touch, we can correct, right? We can help them to realize they have to step this way or that way. Once we're in front of the camera, of course, we have those limitations. But for me now, what I see, which is working, is that we're finding ways to make them understand first what they're doing instead of making them just copy how to do it. Sometimes people focus in the form, just trying to make them look good, but looking good for the teacher's eyes only, or for other people, not really making the students understand what's the reason they have to do this or that. So far, this is working really well with the adults, with the kids as well, because we take time in the end of the class to talk, and I'm always pushing the kids to ask questions. And it's so good to see that the kids, they have the same actually interest on trying to understand what they're doing. And this is working super well now. That's something that we have been doing. And I can see like how good this is working on all the students actually.
Speaking of online classes, Mestre, let's now show everyone a video of one of your classes done online just a few months ago. Okay, Mestre, what does awu mean? I
How
heard you
mean
say
cartwheel?
cartwheel. Okay, so it's a movement.
It's a movement, yeah.
And speaking of movements, Mestre, I know that you are now ready to present the different basic movements in capoeira.
Sure, I'll show you, and I have someone very special who's gonna help me, which is my son Mateus here. Mateus, come here. There. So I'll show you usually how we start the class, and then I'm gonna ask Mateus to do some movements. So usually I ask the kids to put feet together like this, and then I'm gonna count up to 3, and we go for the parallel position. Let's go, Teus. 1, 2, 3. Paralela. So paralela will be our base for the most like important move in capoeira, which is the ginga, and then we go for the ginga. Ginga 1, ginga 2, ginga 3. Usually we stop here, and for example, we can go for a escape, which we call 𝗙𝗶𝗹𝗲. Let's go, Mateus. 𝗙𝗶𝗹𝗲, 𝗙𝗶𝗹𝗲. I can show you a basic attack that we call 𝗦𝗂𝗯𝗀𝗀𝗆. It's a kick. So usually I ask the kids to have a chair in front of them. I'm gonna show here with Mateus. And then we're gonna go for the kick, and Mateus, you're gonna be kicking over the chair. Let's go. Meia lua de frente, 1. Meia lua de frente, 2. So from here, I'm gonna show you guys that Mateus can do some moves. And I'm gonna play an instrument for him, and he's gonna show you guys how to do it. Ginga, Mateus, ginga, ginga, au, ginga,
Wow!
cocorinha, resistência, rolê, ginga, meia lua de compasso, ginga, meia lua de compasso, ginga, esquiva lateral, martelo, bananeira, hands down on the floor, 1, 2, 3, kick. Good. And then usually ask the students, I challenge them to do a handstand. I put a chair, and then Mateus, you're gonna turn the back, hands on the floor, bananeira, bananeira. Hands on the floor, 1 foot in the chair, the other leg all the way up in the air. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. When we are in person with the kids, I help them to do some like acrobatic moves also. I can do a bridge here, hands up, Mateus, hands on the floor, and he's gonna flip. We can do the same thing going opposite way. Head on the floor. 1, 2, 3, and good. So if we play capoeira together, just to show you guys, would be like this. Let me move this one here. We're gonna go down here. Mateus, come here. Cocorinha, shake hands. Au. And then we do ginga together. And then Mateus do esquiva lateral. And then I kick. And then I'm gonna put my hand here. Mateus kick meia lua de frente over the hand. Stand up. Good job. Ginga. Ginga. 1, 2, 3, au. 1, 2, 3, au. Very good. Shake hands. Good job. So Mateus is only 4 years old, and most of the movements you guys saw it there, it's actually not hard. It's very natural for every kid. Like usually I start to teach the kids, especially the younger ones, like, Mateus, can you show how to walk like a monkey? Just animal movements. Walk like a monkey. Go like this. And then I ask them to jump like a frog. I'm gonna ask them to do the cartwheel, which is not natural for them. Au. So all those movements are very natural for kids. Come here, Tish. You wanna stay here? So usually, with the experience like of being teaching kids, like the smile in their face is always the same because it's a playful time for them. I have been teaching aside of the class that I teach in the gyms. I also teach capoeira as a PE for international schools. Also, I have been teaching with the Canadian American School for several years. I believe like around 7 or 8 years. And the kids there, they start as early as 17, 18 months. You know, and
17, 18 months?
yeah, some of them, like, you know, they're just learning how to walk. But we all know that before walk, they're all crawling. And those movements are very natural for them, you know, to make them walk like a monkey, to jump like a frog, to have them responding the sounds of the instruments, to have them in a head or a handstand. Those are very natural moves for the kids, the bridge. So they start that early, and of course, capoeira for them will be more introduction to capoeira, you know. But that's the fun part, is never forcing them. Like, capoeira is not the type of martial arts that you super serious. Like, it's not about that. We go about the joy, we go about the happiness, the music, and this is what makes them like stick to capoeira and really like natural, like start to develop their skills
And they're just having fun.
all the time.
Yes. Actually, I mentioned to you, Mestre, that my little girl, she enrolled in your toddlers class. So I'll just show a poster, Mestre,
Sure.
of your capoeira for toddlers class. This is actually very, very interesting because we see a lot of kids, like as you mentioned earlier, Mestre, form is very strict for other martial arts, and here it's more like they're just having fun. So there you
Yes,
have it.
that's the goal. Yeah, so the toddlers class is something we're opening right now. This will be the first batch of students, and we're gonna start on October 17th. So we have been in a partnership with Skill Scout, which is an application that enables parents to find a lot of different activities for the kids and to be able to pay also. So they have been helping us a lot. So if you guys are interested on the toddlers class, you can actually go to our own website, which is 𝗟𝗶𝗄𝗏.com, or you can go straight to skillscout.co, that they have, aside of the toddlers, all our other schedules there. We have been teach bigger kids also from 5 to 11 years old, and we have teens and adults as well. So capoeira is for everyone. You know, capoeiras welcome everyone. And the good thing about capoeira, just like I have been doing this for 28 years, I have masters who are doing that for 40, 50 years. They still playing, they still doing the movements. So capoeira is an endless martial arts. You know, you can learn, you can keep learning. And once again, that joy is something that as a human being we need in our lives. Of course, like we need to focus on the forms, the techniques, but overall that joy, the happiness, that's what capoeira is all about.
Let's move on, Mestre, to the kids class. You have a different class for the kids and a separate class also for the teens and the adults.
Yes. So how I said, like today, we have like 3 schedules for kids. Every Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday, we have kids class. Tuesdays 4:30 p.m. Saturday and Sundays 10:30 a.m. We have kids class. And adults, we have like 3 times a week. Actually, we have beginners and we have advanced also students. How I said, still have a lot of students who have been doing capoeira for a long time with me. Those are the ones who train, and I train together with them. And it's a very technical class, the advanced class, but we have beginners class also, very basic for everyone who wants to learn capoeira with no experience required. Sometimes people say, I don't know how to do this. I don't have background, but capoeira, just like anything else, you come and you learn step by step. We just need to come, and we guarantee that you guys are gonna have fun the same way that the kids have fun.
Okay, so Mestre will just be sharing with our audience the schedule in our description box below. Mestre, you mentioned earlier that some parents are having hesitations, like how are they gonna do the cartwheels, for instance? Like I myself, I don't even know how to do a cartwheel, and yet my toddler will be will be starting her capoeira class next Saturday. So how can I, as a parent, help her do something that I don't know how to do?
Coming and looking for, like someone with experience enough to teach you guys, to give you guys the confidence to learn everything step by step. Everything is step by step. I didn't know how to do cartwheel also. I didn't know how to do the ginga. I learned that step by step, and that's what we do, and that's what it brings, like, that change on our lives when we find out that we can still do it. There's not such a thing that I cannot do and I'm not good on that. Everything we can learn, everything we can practice, we can always win every day.
I'm excited to do a cartwheel, Mestre, for the first time. I will be able to do a cartwheel through capoeira.
Of course, you're gonna do much more than a cartwheel to capoeira, I'm sure.
I'm very excited. Mestre, what else will parents need to prepare to have their kids start their capoeira classes?
We always ask them first, since we're at home, just to have a little space for the kids. And this is easy today. Everyone's already an expert at home on finding space. So like a good space for them to move. If they have mats, it's okay. If not, it's okay as well. We always ask them to have a water bottle for the kids. And if they can have jogging pants, would be good also. They're going to feel more comfortable. And a chair or a stool that they can kick over, and that's it. That's all we need.
Especially for the movements that you showed earlier, Mestre, you had to use a chair. So monoblock will suffice.
It's
Okay.
Yeah, it's perfect because for the kids, they need to understand that they have to elevate their kicks to pass over something, and this will represent a person later on.
Hmm. And kids love to play tumblings or somersaults. So I suppose this will really be exciting, especially for the toddlers and the little kids who just want to play around. So,
It's very exciting. It's very exciting.
okay. So now let's move on to our fourth portion, the conclusion. So, Mestre, you have been practicing capoeira for decades already. What is it about capoeira that you really love, that makes you practice it even if, so many decades have already passed?
That's a hard question to answer. Like, because capoeira for me is very special. I left Brazil when I was 23 years old. Like, at first I was studying physical. No, I was studying tourism in a university, and then I had changed for a physical education. And it came the opportunity for me to come here to the Philippines, like to really live for capoeira. That's something I was practicing in Brazil. I super like it, and I never even thought about that. you know. But once I talked to my parents, my mom was very supportive, and today I can see how important was that decision for me. Because capoeira today is really my life. That's what I am today. How I told you guys, my family, everything I have is through capoeira. My friends, capoeira have shown me the world. I give a lot of workshops and seminars around the world in many different countries, and the passion that I have with me, it's more like a mission I see today. So I'm happy that I found that mission early on my life, and I'm really a proud person of being representing capoeira. I carry that with a lot of responsibility also, and that's why I'm always smiling when I'm talking about capoeira, because it's the same for me if I'm talking, if I'm playing, if I'm teaching. Like I want to make people understand like that this is something good. and can be good for everyone the same way it's good for me.
Mestre, how do you envision the future of capoeira in the Philippines and in the whole world, since you're the vice president of the World Capoeira Federation?
Yeah, I'm the vice president of Asia, the Asia Capoeira Federation. The World Capoeira Federation, just to tell you guys, we had a championship on 2018, and this was a world championship. And I'm really proud to say that I went there to represent the Philippines, and I brought the silver medal here to the Philippines. So this is my with the World Capoeira Federation. But I am the vice president of the Asia Capoeira Federation, and how I told you guys today, capoeira in the world, it's so good to see that we're reaching more and more kids all the time. You know, that's something natural in Brazil for a long time. But once we start to invest in the kids, we know that the future is going to be great. And I'm sure, I'm 100% sure that those kids are going to grow. If they do not become teachers, this once again is going to help them in their lives, not just in the sports. But capoeira is it's a great tool, like to make, like, especially the young ones, to understand more about life and how, like, we should see life, you know, always having fun, always enjoying, no matter what age or no matter what problems we go through. Like, when we get to capoeira, we forget all about that and we become those kids all over again, just being happy of being together with people, being learning, being sharing, like, techniques, and capoeira guide us to do that. So I see a bright future for sure.
Thank you so much, Mestre, for walking us through the fundamentals of capoeira and sharing with us your love for capoeira. Thank you also to 𝗙𝗂𝗋𝗄s for demonstrating the different movements. 𝗙𝗂𝗋s, thank you so much. I mean, you are a great example, you know, to a lot of parents. They can imagine their kids being as young as you, also enjoying capoeira and learning how to do it at such a young age.
He's really happy. It's hard for me to not have him in class because he wants to step in every class. Like, I teach class
Oh,
every day. How I said, like, from Sunday to Sundays, I teach in the school also. So whenever he sees, he runs and he wants to be part of it. So I'm a proud parent as well. So I just want to say thank you so much for the opportunity, like, to have opportunity like that. For me, it's always great and very rich because we can pass, and I try my best to pass that feeling that I was describing for you guys, that capoeira is good for everyone, and we're here to serve all of you guys. And that advice that I would give to everyone there is just try it, and I'm sure after you try it, you guys are gonna understand, and you guys are gonna start to smile just the way we're smiling here.
I am very excited, Mestre, to join the Axé Capoeira Philippines family next Saturday. Thank
Yes.
you so much.
Yes, actually, this Saturday, it's important that we say that this Saturday, actually, we have a free trial for kids, okay? Not for the toddlers, but for the big kids from 4 to 11 years old. There's a free trial class, and you guys can go to the 𝗟𝗶𝗹𝗄𝗏 website or to the Skill Scout website to access that, to give your names and sign-ups there. So it's free for everyone, not only for the kids, but actually for the teens and the adults as well. So great opportunity for you guys there to try capoeira, to experience capoeira, and then you can let us know, or we can tell me, actually, I'm gonna be there in class, and how that experience is gonna be.
Okay, thank you so much. So to our Teach My Child family, we hope that you enjoyed our session slash video on capoeira, the festive martial art, and interview with Mestre Fantasma. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please make sure you subscribe, like, and follow us on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages because we have a lot more videos in store for you on how you can help your kids unleash their potential. Thank you, everyone. As always, thank you for watching. Bye.